Shabbat Shalom. The angels were jealous. When God decreed on high that we, humanity, were created in his or her image, he or she gave us the ability to do things that the angels could not do. People find this hard to believe, but we actually do have angels all over the Torah, and they are, in a sense, our siblings, and there was sibling rivalry between them on high and us, and the creation of us, and what God imbued us with. What was the biggest thing that we got? Free will. We could feel, we could touch, we could sense, we could taste things that they never would be able to do. So this rivalry existed between them and us from the very beginning. It is said that the Satan angel, and yes, there is a Satan angel, was constantly trying to trip us up to prove that we were not worthy. The biggest example was Job. He kept going down, testing Job repeatedly to see if his faith remained strong. Or think about Jonah and the whale, Joseph, with his prophetic dreams and his crazy jealous brothers, the issues that he had with Pharaoh. Think about Noah and the flood and the destruction of humankind and the task of building the ark. And what about Moses and Abraham? That list goes on and on and on. Why should we be any different? Most everyone in the Torah was tested in some way, even the women. Think of Sarah, Rachel, Rebecca, Leah, Miriam, Deborah. Last Shabbat, we got the commandments. This Shabbat, we get rules to help enforce and keep them. Mishpatim, laws, our lawyers like this one, recounts a series of God's laws that Moses gave to the Israelites in greater detail than the commandments themselves. They include laws about the treatment of slaves, damages, loans, the returning of lost property, Shabbat, the sabbatical year, holidays, and, very important, especially at that time, destroying idolatry. Yes! It ends as Moses ascends Mount Sinai for 40 days, which is strange because it's a little bit out of order considering we got the commandments last week and now we're getting all these laws and explanations this week, and Moses ascends. God recognized, as our ultimate parent, that we needed rules. Sometimes we just don't like the rules. Sometimes we want to bend the rules, especially when we're driving, especially if you've driven with me and my rolling right turns and things like that. Especially maybe if you're walking on the pier in Redondo. My son was horrified because he got a ticket for walking his dog on the pier in Redondo yesterday. And it's horrifying. And so we asked, are there signs that say, do not walk dogs? Well, the signs are there. How many people walk their dogs? Lots of people. Okay, but if someone wants to give you a ticket, we're so blessed to have a police officer out there keeping us safe, they can do that because there are laws that we're supposed to live by. And sometimes we just sort of massage them and bend them, twist them and turn them. But the reality is, these laws we are not supposed to mess around with. We are supposed to follow them. So the angels stood by. They knew that God wanted us to have order in our lives, and they felt that the real world was going to test us to the point that we weren't going to be able to comply. The angels watched, sometimes wishing for our downfall. Do you ever feel like there's ever been anyone in your life that was wishing for your downfall? Even checking on us on Shabbat. There's the preschool song. The sharpest angels are peeking through the window. They're watching to see what we're doing. All of us, our bases are covered because we're here on Shabbat, to see whether we observed or not, and keeping score. Yes, we had opportunities to do things that they couldn't, but we also had free will to make our own decisions about whether to follow the rules of ethical and moral behavior or not, thus getting ourselves into all kinds of trouble. Even the Haftarah for this Shabbat from the prophet Isaiah, because this is the Shabbat of the new moon of Rosh Chodesh, as it is the Chinese New Year, from the prophet Isaiah, this concerns itself with our ability to choose or to choose not to follow these rules, citing how God reached out to other nations to actually offer Torah and its command, but those nations were incapable of receiving it because their lives were actually built around the very rules they were violating. So there is a story in the Talmud about this Shabbat, Parsha Mishpatim, and it says, when Moses went up to the heavens to receive the Torah, the angels asked the Creator, Master of the world, why is there a human being here among us? And then an argument happens. Kabbalists state that what was being given to humankind through the Torah was not just wisdom or a spiritual path, but an actual detachment, that God was creating a detachment of the essence of the light of the Creator, which was being sent down for anybody who wanted it. We all have the ability to access this light. We have to want it. So when I speak at Shabbat with the 2 candles, and we kindle the light, and I say, connect to the light within, or like in the Shema, when we say, go into that quiet space within you, as if you're seated, if you're standing, or if we're meditating on the Hebrew letters that we have in our Aleph Bet class, or if we're looking at the prayers and accessing their energy, or if we're pointing and looking at the Torah, these are all ways in which we can actually activate our connection to the divine, even if we don't know how to read it. Looking at those letters, even if you're sitting here and people say to me, I don't know how to really pray, just look up there. We have it for you right there. Just look at the letters. And it's just sort of a beam me up, Scotty moment, and you are making that connection, truly, truly. The angels could not understand this, so they asked the Creator, how can you give over control of the essence of your light to humankind? If the Creator was simply giving over wisdom or giving over a spiritual path, the angels actually would not have had any problem with understanding that. But the Creator, God, was giving over a magnificent power, an essence, a light. And that's what Shabbat's about, connecting to that light. The concept of giving the Torah, which is actually giving over the Creator's essence and light to us, was upsetting for them, because the Creator gave us something that they couldn't access because they did not have humanity in their being. They were eclectic. The Creator realized after the shattering of the vessels in the beginning of creation that he or she needed a partner in creation, and that the Creator could not fix everything alone. The Creator could wipe things out, like at the time of the flood, but we had to fix things together. Even at the time of the flood, Noah had to build the ark to save humanity. So we have the ability to save ourselves and humanity because we were established as partners with God, as co-creators. So because this Creator has given us this ability, because Adonai has done this, we have both, some people might say it's a blessing or a curse. We have great responsibility. God gave us light. God gave us choice. God gave us the ability to use the light, harness it, and obliterate the darkness with it. The darkness in our world, and the darkness within ourselves, and the darkness even that sometimes maybe the Satan angel wants to place upon us just to test us and see how strong is our faith. Kabbalists teach that only beings of this world, not the angels, or even the light itself, as we said, of the Creator, can fix it. We have to do it. Not only are we given the opportunity to own the light, access the light, manifest and actualize the light, we can receive the protection that comes with it. So sometimes when people are in a real negative space or something's happening, I'll say, surround yourself with white light. See yourself with white light. And at one point, I even had a license plate that said white light. It was a white Mercedes station wagon. So anyway, and it saved me. We were in a terrible accident and when we were looking at Dallas at the airport, and truly all the wheels fell off, and it saved us because we were surrounded in white light. We had taken it to have new tires when we drove from California to Texas, and when we got there, everything just blew up and fell off. So we are protected by the light. We also receive a very, very intense responsibility to do something that cannot be done by the Creator or the angels. We have to take control of the light, and then we have to fix ourselves and the world. So Shabbat Mishpatim is about the Creator giving us what? Light. The Torah given to us at Sinai is the essence of the light that the Creator has actually cut away and partitioned off specially for us. The Creator put it there, and it is there for us to take. And this is why the angels were so upset. And this is why they were so concerned. They didn't think that, they were actually questioning God's judgment. And they said, are you really sure about this? This is in the Talmud. Are you sure that you want to send your light down to the world in a way that is not retrievable by us or by you? We're not going to be able to fix it anymore once you do this and make this choice. And the Creator says, and this is very important, yes, it could be centuries. Yes, it might take a while, and this is in the Talmud, but there will come a time in human history where enough people will understand that we have sent down into the world the essence of the light. Nobody else can touch it except humans. And when humans, the ones who understand this, make it their focus of their lives to own and access and manifest and actualize this light, they will be able to use that light to fix themselves and the world. So ultimately, it's on us. We have the means, we have the power to fix things. The Creator is just standing by, counting on us, betting on us, as we say on this Super Bowl weekend. Our world is in disrepair. But if you look at our history that's recounted in the Torah, we are no stranger to hardship, challenge, and adversity. It is in our DNA to persevere and succeed against all odds. We are no stranger to the tests placed upon us to challenge our free will and our choice. It's all in there, whether by God, whether by the angels, or as a result of our karmic debt. Our tikkun, as we say in Hebrew, our character and our evolution individually and collectively depends on our choices, what we do with our free will, and boils down simply and ultimately to how well we follow the rules, the guidebook, the laws passed down by God to us to behave, to evolve, and to repair ourselves, and to repair our world, and to fix when necessary that which needs to be fixed and perfected. This is our soul's journey. This is our task when we are humanized in this lifetime. And this is also our challenge now. The chaos we create for ourselves is just that, a manifestation of our own inability to harness the light and use it for good, and our inability to engage the essence of God and the extraordinary light available for good to dispel the darkness. We have the power. It's in us. We have to just access it, actualize it, activate it, and not be afraid of it. Because when you have that much light, there's a lot of power and there's a lot of choice. And the more light you have, it's like a moth to a flame. The greater your light, the greater the attack to keep testing you and testing you. And the Kabbalists will say, bring it on, bring on more adversity. Because every time you do that and you survive it, you're stronger for it. It doesn't feel like it at the moment, but the reality is that truly, people who are really, really good will say, why is all this stuff happening to me? Because you're actually so good, and it seems very bizarre. But the reality is those forces will try to punish you and trip you up like the angels on high and test you. And the greater the test, we don't know. It's a whole thing with King David and Solomon and Samuel, a whole thing about, well, how come this person has this and this person has that, and I'm so good, and I do this and I do that. It's not here that we are truly measured, judged, and benefited by the goodness of our actions. It is for eternity on high, which is a much, much longer time than the time we spend here. So if you had a choice, would you want to have everything you could possibly have now? Probably, yes. But if you wanted to be really worthy and merit glory and goodness and wonderful light in the heavenly realm for all eternity, think about what you might choose. Several weeks ago, we got Shabbat Bo with its plague and its Shiva of darkness. God showed us the miracles that we can receive when we follow his or her commands. It was up to us to follow them. It's a choice we make daily. We can sit around here and we can say, well, you know what? This doesn't apply to me. I walk a pretty good path. I dwell within the light. I make pretty good choices all the time. I'm not perfect. I am human. That's the point. We're here to correct ourselves. But it isn't just about us. It's about humanity as a whole. Because every decision that we make, it affects. It's like a ripple in a pond, or it's like a domino, bringing them all down. It's not just the big things that can undo us. It's the small, seemingly insignificant things that can bring us down and lay the foundation to threaten us as a whole. In relationship to this Shabbat Mishpatim, Kabbalist Michael Berg goes on to speak about how on the surface, it speaks about slavery. As things always are with Kabbalah, there are actually more layers to it than that. He states that Kabbalists say this is not about people who are physically enslaved. Rather, and this is something we can all relate to, on the most basic level, being enslaved means caring about what people think about us, doing things not because they're coming from our true essence, but because maybe society, friends, family, and so forth push us and want or desire us to behave in a particular way. It may also mean that we're really doing things just to be liked, to be accepted, to be appreciated. Has anyone ever done that? Or to be thought of as good, sharing, a spiritual person, even though they do have a positive side to them. Has anyone ever actually felt this way? There are moments when we might find ourselves in that space. It's important that we understand this, because if we don't know and see this as a disease, it creates dis-ease. We're going to never gain the cure. Spiritually, the Kabbalists teach that there are two forces in this world. There's the light of the Creator, the system of holiness, and then there's the place from which true freedom comes. And then there is the system of impurity, the system of darkness. Today, each and every one of us is enslaved in one way or another. We care what people think, we care what people say, and we care about how we are viewed. And this influences our lives in almost every single action that we do. And Michael Berg goes on to state, all of those thoughts mean that we are enslaved to them because we are not able to be pure in our actions or act solely based upon what our true essence and soul desires. The Kabbalists teach that as long as we're in that state of caring about what other people think and acting in ways that will either get appreciated or liked and worrying about it, then we're enslaved. Then we're not free. Therefore, think about your own families. There are times when we just want everything to be harmonious and we want there to be love and harmony, and it just doesn't happen. And then maybe we start acting in ways that are against our true nature just so that we can feel worthy and receive that love or just have peace. But we're not in alignment with ourselves. We're giving up a piece of ourselves. So it's crucial to understand what it actually means to be spiritually and psychically enslaved. When we speak about the Israelites in Egypt, it's not simply the fact that they were in physical slavery, but their consciousness for hundreds of years that they passed on was enslaved. That's why that generation didn't get into the Promised Land. The degree that we are enslaved and caring about what other people say and think is to the degree that we are tying ourselves to the forces of negativity and darkness and that sense of enslavement. We pollute our lives and we create chaos for ourselves. As we push ourselves to become free of what people think and say and really look inside and act and live from that part of our soul, that which is pure, we are pushing instead toward freedom. We are disconnecting from those of impurity and darkness and actively coming towards the light. So it's a small thing, but it's just one thing we can do to access, harness, and actualize the light. The most important thing is to remember, first of all, that actually there are moments when we are all slaves. Are we slaves to the things that we desire? Are we slaves to the things we don't have? What emotions are we slaves to? What's going on in our life? We have to ask ourselves, and it's not an accident it comes up now, hard to believe, but in less than 2 months it's going to be Passover. All negative thoughts, which are so prevalent in our mind daily, are an indication that we are actually enslaved. Think about it. I'm feeling negative. What am I feeling enslaved to? Being enslaved means something deeper than simply not being as spiritually evolved as we need to be. Being enslaved is actually a connection, an attachment that we create and then give over to the forces of darkness in this world. We create that little opening for the light, our divine light, to be snuffed out, and then for evil and negativity to come in. One of the great gifts of this Shabbat is being able to have the supernal assistance to break free from that slavery and to actually achieve freedom. With our free will to dwell in the light of the darkness that colors our world with either the energy of the Creator or activate transformation and repair. Or connect with the darkness which eats away not only at our souls, but at the collective consciousness of our world and eats away at our global humanity. Little negative thoughts fester, they turn into big ones like an unchecked splinter or a snowball rolling down a mountain, increasing not only in size but speed. We have the power to stop it in its track, to shatter it and dissolve it with a shift in our perspective and adherence to the rules. Now, I know this is sort of like a High Holy Day sermon, but it's important that we get this because our world, we can do things to make a difference. We're never meant to be enslaved. That's what we celebrate at the Michamocha. We were given all the tools and the rules that we need. We just have to choose as a society, as a global humanity, not to follow the things that are negative. If each person put aside their negative impulses and thoughts, reached for the light consciously, the essence and the light of the Creator within us and around us would prevail, and justice would be served, and repair of the world as well. Then and only then, we will have done our job to fix it and ourselves. All we have to do is reach for the light. So while we think about those big things, the rules that maybe don't apply to us, let us think about the little ones that collect and manifest in ways that keep us from the light, keep us from being our best selves, that pull us away and lead us into a state of darkness and negativity. If we can, each and every one of us, moment to moment, check ourselves, be mindful and aware. Is a little negative thought coming in? I'm going to put a little line through it like Ghostbusters and blow it up. I'm not going to worry about what somebody else is thinking or doing. I'm not going to let another person affect me. I'm not going to give them my power. I'm going to choose positivity, and I'm going to choose to live in the light. And then we can check ourselves and flip the switch. If each and every one of us does this moment by moment, we will create an energy that will elevate and restore balance and hopefully influence the dark forces that are threatening us, not only personally, but globally, apocalyptically. We can fix ourselves and ultimately our world. The darkness will test us, but the light is always there to guide us. We just have to choose to harness it, follow the rules, have the courage and the strength as one humanity to do so, and setting the record straight in front of those angels on high. So why us? Because we have the humanity, we have the free will, we have the intelligence, the ability, and the physicality to do what is right, to dispel the dark, negative forces that threaten to derail us. And we have the ability to prove that we are worthy partners in co-creation, capable of propagating the light, repairing our shattered vessels, repairing our world, and of being worthy of God's command. Ken Yehi Ratzon, may it be God's will. Shabbat Shalom.